Hey everybody, it's Harry from SmokeFire BBQ. I'm trudging through Chicago airport again. This time I'm heading to see the folks at Weber. I've been invited to a VIP first look and cook with their new pellet smoker called the SmokeFire. So I'm here to find out about all the hype. Is it true? Will it work? And more importantly, will Weber dethrone some of his established competitors in the very tightly fought pellet cooker market? We're going to share you guys the results and show you guys through this video what are the pros and cons of the new Weber pellet SmokeFire grill smoker. Hey everybody, I'm here at the Grill Academy and we just had a 2-day session with the launch party. And the nice folks at Weber talked us through all of the different aspects of the grill, talked about how the process was designed from concept all the way to execution, prototyping, and designing all the various components that went into the grill. But right now, what I want to try to do is kind of answer, I know, the questions that you have about this grill, and just make sure that, I have not yet cooked on it extensively. We had a short cook for the lunch. We cooked a few steaks, chicken and shrimp and salmon. So I have not done an extensive test on the SmokeFire yet, but my initial impression is, in a nutshell, for those of you who do not want to watch this entire video, it's a winner. And I will describe the components and kind of talk you guys through the thought process that allows Weber to make a terrific first entry into the pellet grill market for Weber Corporation. I have in front of me a Weber SmokeFire 24. They are available in two sizes, the 24 and the 36. This is a pretty big unit, and it'll cook perhaps even a small hog in there. And they come in different two sizes primarily. I think the EX4 and EX6 model. I know you guys are going to ask me how much they cost. I believe that the smaller one, the 24-inch one, is in the around $1,000 mark, and then the bigger one is in the $1,200 range, which puts it squarely within the sights of its competitors that Weber is up against. I know the first question you want to ask me is that, Weber is sort of late in the pellet cooking game. There are at least 18 other manufacturers out there who have gotten a head start. So how will Weber dethrone or hold its own against the competitors out there? I will tell you that for Weber, this is a great, well thought out grill, and I'll kind of talk you through the various components. Here's a 24-inch one, which I'll talk you through because it's clean. We just had lunch and we cooked on all these grills. These are kind of a little bit grungy. I didn't want to get myself too, kind of greasy before I get on the Southwest plane to head back to Los Angeles. So on a 24-inch one, the way a kind of pellet cooker works is it uses pellets as fuel. So number one, for those of you who are not familiar with pellet cookers, this is the fuel that it uses, and pellets primarily provide BTU and smoke. Weber sells 5 different kinds of pellets that has been optimized for the grill, and the pellets go into this pellet hopper right here. It's a pretty big, kind of a pellet holder here. It'll hold about 22 pounds of pellet, and right here there is some kind of a laser indicator. When it gets down to about 2 pounds of pellets, the warning light will come on and you get an audible kind of alarm on your phone if you are connected to the grill using their Weber Connect Wi-Fi and Bluetooth process. So 22 pounds of pellets fully loaded. Okay, so the next question you're going to ask me is how long will they cook for? So I've been told by Mikhail, who is the chief engineer on this project, it's about a burn rate of about 1 pound per hour at 250. So you can easily get 20 hours from one bag of pellets, which is a very efficient design. Unlike some of the other competitors on the side, this is located kind of in the back. And now that I'm on the back, I'll talk you through some of the components in here. You know this little panel here with 4 screws? So one of the things that Weber noticed was that when you have a pellet cooker, a lot of times the starter or the hot rod tends to wear out. So as part of the orientation process, when you buy one of these units, they basically talk you through the process to install the glow plug that goes in here. It's a glow plug from a diesel engine, and it's a standard part that you can buy. Of course, Weber will sell you the part. So once you learn how to put a glow plug in, you can fix any issues that might crop up, say with the stuck auger. And I'll explain to you some of the things that they've done to make sure that minimizing the auger being stuck because the way this works is they've really engineered a lot of thought processes into this pit to make sure that all the problems you typically find with pellet cookers are eliminated or minimized. So here's where you access the auger. Here's where you access the glow plug if you ever need to replace the glow plug. Now, for those you're wondering, you get a 3-year warranty on the parts and you get 5 years on the overall chassis. So that is a phenomenal warranty. On top of Weber's excellent customer service, you call them up and they will take care of you. So here's the mechanism under here, under the interpellet, where the magic happens, and I'll talk you through the design for the fire pot. So pellet grill primarily uses something called a fire pot, which is this thing here. The pellets essentially will fall into the fire pot, be lit up by the glow plug, and you see the glow plug right here. So this thing is called the glow plug. It kind of heats up and then it basically starts to ignite your pellets. Now notice the design here, right? This is very, very unique, which I've not seen in other pellet cookers. See how the auger in the back, right? This is actually at an angle upwards, right? And then it basically pushes these pellets through a oversized auger hole, pushes the pellets from here, and the pellets will slide down this little ramp here, like a slide, into the fire pot. Now look at the attention to detail. Look at the size of the grates in the fire pot. The width of the grates was specially designed so that if you buy Weber's pellets, they work. When you buy another competitor's pellets, they also work. So a lot of thoughtful engineering design went to even something as simple as the size of the opening for the pellets. And they've designed the pellet kind of like grate with a major enhancement in mind, which I've not seen in other manufacturers, is that it allows the used pellets to fall through. And then if you can't see it, but beneath it is actually an ash tray, which is a genius idea, that this tray essentially will catch most of the ash. So this was designed to catch 70% of the ash generated by the smoke fire. And you notice the little thing here? So this is a standard pan from the Weber gas grill. So if you buy accessories for your gas grill, all these accessories will actually fit onto the smoke fire. So a lot of thoughtfulness went into the design, a lot of thoughtfulness went into the customer to make sure that the customer can reuse the accessories that they buy from other lines for the Weber equipment line. So this is basically a great way for you to essentially clean out your ashtray. If you're cooking low and slow followed by hot and fast, it's a good idea to clean this out because you don't want any of the oil that might be a little bit kind of flavorful from the previous cook to flavor your hot searing portion of your cook. So if the drawer comes in and out like this, slides in and out, easy to use, easy to take out and dump the whole tray, dump the ash out and put it back in. And about 30% of the residual ash will fall to the bottom, so no problem there to clean up. Now, let's talk about how the auger system works. The auger comes from the back, like so, through here, and right through the chute here. And essentially what it does is it allows the auger to basically drop pellets. This design was conceived primarily to prevent any kind of backdraft or blowback. So for those of us who have pellet cookers, one of the problems we have is that sometimes there is a fire that starts in the pellet chute and it travels all the way into the pellet hopper with disastrous results because you're going to have a pellet hopper fire. Weber minimized that with an ingenious design by allowing the pellets to drop by gravity onto the chute and down to the fire pot. So after you finish cooking and you go through the shutdown cycle, this thing will reverse. The auger will reverse and will push any unlit pellets back, so there is no way that this thing can get jammed or start a fire. The other thing that's also a pet peeve of mine is that sometimes the auger gets damp and then gets water into the smoker. Like if you live in Florida, you live in a climate that has a lot of snow, a lot of rain, right? What will happen essentially is that the auger will freeze up because of the pellets. The way they counteracted that is they have a very, very super duper powerful DC motor, variable speed auger in here, and a variable speed fan. So you notice how this, you look at my hand here, right? So you see how this hole here is huge. So it minimizes any kind of auger jam. So the Weber engineers told us that when they even tested putting in frozen pellets to see if frozen pellets would jam this auger. And this auger also has intelligence in the sense that if it detects stuck pellets or stuck auger, it will do a reverse algorithm to essentially back up and back forward, go forward and backward on the auger to try to clear the jam. Now, if it's not able to clear the jam, then you will get an error code onto the control panel here, informing you that your auger is stuck. And if the auger is stuck, I showed you guys how to go to the back to remove the 4 screws to service the auger yourself. And that is a very, very thoughtful thing, because when you cook with a pellet cooker, you want to be able to fix all these small problems without a service call. So I'm going to assemble this now and put the shield over. So the shield is over here. This is the basically goes over the fire pot, and it's a little rectangular stainless steel box that goes over like so. Okay, so that is to basically shield the fire from the fire pot, and on top of that goes a porcelain enamel little roof, little roof like this. So this goes right in here. Here's the final configuration. You have one sort of enamel, porcelain enamel teepee in it. And for those of you who use the Weber gas grill, these are very familiar. These are the flavorizer bars. So what Weber did is they basically went back to their toolkit of their best technologies, and they found out that when you put the flavorizer bars in here together with this enamel coated teepee, it'll generate about 600 degrees. In fact, in testing, they found out that this configuration could generate even up to 800 degrees. They had to throttle down the algorithm to kind of cap it out at 600, because that is the perfect temperature to sear steaks, right? And you notice the flavorizer bars basically allow for the fat to drip on the flavorizer bars, vaporize, and create additional flavor for your meat. If you look carefully to the back here, that's the thermocouple. So there is the thermocouple in the back that monitors the temperature. And on this grill here, we have a simple setup. I'm going to show you guys how to fire one up momentarily, but basically a simple display with only essentially 3 buttons and 1 knob. So super simple. You can operate this grill just by the knob alone, or you can operate the grill with your phone through a process called Weber Connect, connecting through both Wi-Fi 2.4 gigahertz, as well as using a Bluetooth connection on your phone by downloading their app. Now, as of this video, the app is not quite ready yet, but they're still working out the tweaks. But this product will be introduced in early 2020, and the app is going to be continually improved. The nice thing about having software is they can push upgrades to your phone, no problemo, push the upgrades to your grill by Wi-Fi, and basically that way you can stay updated to all of the features that a Weber Connect portion of the cooking process can provide you. So I'm going to put the grates back now. And the thing you notice is that these are stainless steel grates, and people are going to say, hey, why did Weber go cheap? Why didn't you guys give me a cast iron grate? The reason that is in product testing, they found out that the cast iron grates were great for searing. But if you are actually cooking low and slow, the iron grates themselves, cast iron grates are heavy. They are very thermally efficient, absorb too much heat, and cause a problem in the low and slow cooking. So now they provided these stainless steel grates which provide balanced cooking from 200 degrees Fahrenheit all the way to 600 searing hot blazing flame to sear your steaks onto your smoke fire. Now let's talk a little bit about how the airflow works. Obviously you can have a shelf here, and I've been told and I saw in the cooking process that the steaks cook really, really evenly. So it doesn't matter if your steak is here, 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 or here, because of the configuration of the flavorizer bars and that little cast enamel porcelain coated teepee. The cooking is really, really even temperature wise. You have basically a shelf here for additional food that you can slide back and forth. So if you want to cook a big bird, you just take this out like so. And you can cook a big bird even in the 24 inch and another foot longer on the 36 inch. And this grate will allow you to cook essentially 2 levels of food. Now, if you pay attention here, you notice these little gaps in the back. So what is unique about the SmokeFire is that after a lot of product testing, the engineers found out that really the chimney is a design flaw. So in essence, right, for those folks who put a chimney, they found out that the chimney actually draws out too much smoke from the pit. They opted for some kind of a venting process like so. So these 3 vents are found on the 24, and these 3 vents are also found on the 36, like so here. So these 3 vents, right, essentially keep the smoke in the pellet cooker, allowing the smoke fire to give you a smoke flavor that is really unrivaled. We had brisket cooked on it last night by Dustin and Kevin Coleman, and the brisket was top notch. I would rate it on par with an offset smoker in Texas cooking with post oak. That's the phenomenal capability of the smoke flavor, because one of the things that they had to address is people always complain, hey, I got a pellet cooker, it doesn't have enough smoke. They solved the problem by actually eliminating the chimney. So the pit only vents through these little gaps in the back. And from what I can tell from the brief food that we ate last night, this really does work. So you don't need a chimney in order to cook on a smoke fire. Next thing I want to move on to is essentially the design. It's got a sleek design and it's got a temperature probe here. So in the production model, you'll basically be able to plug this in here. You have 4 different temperature probes, and I'll show some pictures of how it will look in the final configuration. You have a power cord here and an on-off switch on here. This is a earlier model. Let me go to a production model here. Here's where the power cord goes in and onto the bottom of the smoke fire. Once you plug it into the wall, it runs on DC. So in the future, I've been told that there may be a DC option where you don't have to put in a wall plug. You can run it off your cigarette lighter in your car and a little battery pack. So the on-off switch comes on here like so, and it turns the unit on. The unit on takes about maybe a minute to boot up, and you're ready to cook right after that. Another thought process here is that look at the handles. The handles stays cool. It has a nice heft to it, so you can swing open the lid here. And you notice the lid here has a nice seal. There is no gasket, so there's no need to worry about it seeping. We cooked a lot of meat here today, and I did not notice any seepage from the side seams here, just a little bit, and mostly out through the back vents right here with the 3 vents in the back. I know you guys will also tell me, Harry, it's a great looking cooker. What's the deal with these wheels? So Mark Colavari, who's the head of the engineering, told me that these wheels are rated for something much heavier than this pit. So I immediately asked the question, can I get bigger wheels? The answer is yes. They're going to be manufacturing a lot of accessories to complement this grill, including side table, front tables, cast iron, whole bunch of other toys. So I believe that an all-terrain wheel is in the making. So for those of you who like to move your grill around a cobblestone surface in your backyard or a kind of bumpy street, you can use these wheels, which are designed in a certain way so that they don't tip over. So if you look at the design of the angle of the wheels, right, and the legs, this is designed like an appliance. So if you try to tilt this over, it's not going to fall on you. It's built to an appliance standard, which is about 15 degrees of tilt, and the whole unit will not tilt and fall over you. So for those of you who are going to send me all the hate mail about the small wheels, the all-terrain bigger wheels are going to be available soon as an option. The bigger wheels are expensive. Obviously, they don't want to add $100 worth of wheels onto this price point to push the product price out of the sweet spot range that everybody is looking for. When will this be ready? I've been told that they're going to have a pre-production run and going to release this in early January. I cannot wait to get my hands on one. It looks like a winner from the start. A lot of thought processes went into design of the grill. Again, talk is cheap. You got to cook on it. I'm going to cook a low and slow brisket, pork butt, ribs on it. I know the steak works because I personally cook some of the steaks here, and the steak searing is absolutely amazing. And of course, the things like the durability and cleanup. Weber has a great reputation for durability, but again, at the end of the day, you gotta use it day in and day out. I've been told that the design process took over a year. A lot of Weber engineers worked on this as their project at home and at work, and everybody took it home to cook it for weeks and weeks before they felt ready to basically release it. I know Kevin has told me he's written many comments about how kind of things to improve given his pitmaster experience. I'm sure many other engineers and pitmasters provide input into the Weber grill prototyping phase and testing phase. These are a bunch of nerdy engineers, and I had a chance to interview a couple of them, and I'll put to a separate video kind of share with you some of the engineering insights on nebulous terms like PIDs and thermal gradients and and analytics of the process to kind of build such a pit. So let's cut to the chase, and for those of you who fast forwarded to the end of my video and you want to know what my conclusions are, number one, does it do the job? The answer, based on the short kind of trial we did, the answer is absolutely yes. Weber went and looked at all the other 18 other contenders in the pellet cooker market. They kind of looked at each one and asked themselves the question, what are the strengths and weaknesses of each one? And essentially what Weber did was they make a long punch list of all these weaknesses, and they found a way to engineer Weber's unique engineering solution around some of these deficiencies. As I mentioned to you, a lot of thought went into the Weber SmokeFire, and it's going to be released in early 2020. So I can't wait to get my hands on one, because I honestly think, kind of off the record, it is a winner. I've used pellet cookers and I'm very familiar with some of the shortcomings of pellet cookers. It kind of looks like Weber did hit it out of the ballpark, to use a Chicago analogy, and essentially did a really excellent job in overcoming all of the normal kind of challenges that you have with pellet cookers. I think that this thing cooks really, really well. It remains to be seen whether they could meet the ambitious design goal of cooking between 200 degrees Fahrenheit all the way to 600. I can't wait to get my hands on one, to do a hands-on test and share with you guys the results on my future episodes.